everybody, to another episode of Two Brothers, Same Mother. Hey, man, it is December, and we're seeing something that we normally don't see, a Ducky P loss, but a loss that, it wasn't really all that disappointing. Would you agree?
Yeah, before we even get this started, man, I gotta admit something, man, and I can't believe I'm actually gonna say this out loud. So if I get a little choked up, get a little emotional, I hope y'all understand. But I have to admit, oh God, I'm officially off the Wentz wagon.
So
There it
you
is.
think Wentz is awful, he'll never do anything in the NFL? Bet.
No,
You said you're off the Wentz wagon, not anything about Philly. You said Wentz sucks.
I'm off. No, I didn't.
If you're off the
Don't
Wentz
put words in my
wagon,
mouth.
you're no longer a Wentz
Don't
fan.
put words in my mouth next fucking Kellerman.
Listen,
I
if you're
said,
on the Wentz wagon, you're a Wentz fan. If you're off the Wentz wagon, you're not a
no.
Wentz fan. So
If you're on the Wentz wagon, means you're looking that it's a Philadelphia thing, the Wentz
No, it's
wagon.
not. No, it's
Okay.
not.
Well,
It
you're
is
looking
a
at Carson
national
Wentz to
thing.
be your starter. You're looking at Carson Wentz to be the starter. Either way, listen, he's not
So
my starter
Carson
anymore.
Wentz is not a starter in the NFL?
No, he's not a starter for the Eagles anymore.
So you're saying that Carson Wentz, you no longer believe that Carson Wentz could be the starter in Philadelphia?
No, I didn't say that. I hope he
What are
goes
you
off to
saying?
another team and do good. But guess what? In my eyes, he's not the Eagles quarterback anymore.
That's what I just said. I just said you're saying that Carson Wentz is no longer going to be the starter in Philadelphia.
I thought you said in the NFL.
No, what I said was if you are off the Wentz wagon, that means that because the Wentz wagon, even though it started in Philly, is a national thing.
Right.
When someone says they're off the Wentz wagon, it means they're no longer a Wentz fan.
I'm a fan of the dude. I just feel that I can't be. Listen, I'm a fan of the guy, right? But I'm not. I don't consider myself a part of a Ginger Jesus apostle. I'm not a part of the LTBB no more. I'm not a part of the Wentz wagon. Look.
I'm a part of the Wentz wagon. I just understand the Wentz wagon's going to be dropping somewhere else. That's all.
And that's fine. And that's fine. Cool. I hope he does well, other than when he plays the Eagles for whatever team he goes against. Mm-hmm. All right. But at this point in time, I'm no longer worried about Carson. Okay.
No, and he shouldn't be. Today should be.
And that's what I mean. I'm off the Wentz wagon. Like
but if you're off the Wentz wagon, that means you're no longer a fan. That's what the Wentz wagon is. It's like a fan club.
No, I'm not in the fan club.
So you're no longer a fan of Carson Wentz.
I like him. I hope he does well.
But you're not a fan of his. Like, it's okay to be a fan of a player if they're not on the Eagles. You just don't root for them when they play the Eagles. I'm a fan of Derrick Henry. Never gonna play for the Eagles. Not a fan of him when he plays for the Eagles.
I don't know. You and I look at the Wentz wagon totally different. I look at it as like you.
I look at it the way that it evolved. I mean, when Barack Obama was talking about the Wentz wagon, it became a national thing. It's just a fan club.
I'm not gonna be a part of a fucking fan club for a player that doesn't play for the Eagles.
So you're not a fan of Carson Wentz?
But I'm not a fan club. No, just because I'm not in the fan club.
If you're a fan of that person, you're part of the fan club, basically.
No.
You can't be a fan of. You can't say I'm a fan of theirs, but I'm not part of the fan. That's what a fan club is. I'm not talking about like a Mickey Mouse fan club. Either you're part of the fan club or you're not. Either you root for the person or you don't care about them.
Yeah, I root for them, just not against the Eagles.
Yeah, so you're still on the Wentz wagon. You're not doing what we were doing at the beginning of this, which is arguing with people that he should be the starter of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Pretty much.
That's all. I think Wentz is going to be a really good quarterback going forward. I just think it's time to get Phillies up.
Here's the thing. Do you think, listen, Carson Wentz has all the tools, right? We could all admit that. Even the most Wentz critics, right, have all admitted that he has the tools. Do you think that he just and I'm not saying physically soft, because both of his injuries and people want to say, oh, he never finished the season. He finished the season last year. He finished the season 2016. If he wasn't benched this year, he would have finished the season this year. he did not get injured. He got knocked out of a game, which people outside of Philadelphia don't realize that he had already went through the concussion protocol like that Tuesday, even though they had lost, and he would have been able to play the following weekend if they would have beaten Seattle last year, right? So I don't think he's weak physically. I think he had 2 fluke-ass injuries. One, I think, related to the other one. The second one related to the first one. But do you think there's a possibility he was just too mentally weak for Philadelphia? I know he says,
huh? I don't think there is a very, very rare person, and I mean very, very rare, that would be able to go into an organization, and you can't think of anybody else, not on the top of my head, that ever had to deal with this. Go into an organization, go through a little bit of turmoil the first year, even publicly butt heads with their head coach, even though it kind of got squashed. Mm-hmm. Second year, have a out of this world season, was going to win the MVP regardless of what you said. He was going to win it.
Oh, he was going to win that.
Get injured with a serious knee injury that, let's be honest, 15 years ago would have been career-ending just about.
Yeah.
You know, watch your backup, who, let's be clear, you and I were both on this, a backup who we felt should have never left Philadelphia when he got traded, win the Super Bowl. Now, then on top of that, remember you're a young guy, all of a sudden, you're being questioned about every little thing, okay? You rush yourself back, which, is what it is. But understand, all these stories start coming about how you're a bad teammate, the locker room is split, you're injury prone because you played with a broken back. And this fan base, the media here, and all that, all got on him. The following year, you finally play healthy. It's so because there's a bunch of injuries around you and all this other stuff, You go on a great 4-game stretch. But now the national media, as well as the local media, are getting on, is Wentz really all that to be? And he got knocked out with a cheap shot by Jadeveon Clowney. And the headline was, it's always something with Carson Wentz. This guy always gets hurt. Mm-hmm. But you sat there and the local people were they were just starting to turn, you know what? Carson showed something in that 4-game stretch. And what does your GM do? Fucking draft your replacement in the 2nd round. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that people that supported you and the people that fought to have you here are both out of here with DiFilippo and Frank Reich. Mm-hmm. Your coach, you're playing in the game, won't even talk to you until 72 hours later. Like, I don't remember a quarterback and a coach going through this like in this way and on the pros ever in my history. And I mean, there's been times where coaches and quarterbacks might not see eye to eye or that there might be some turmoil there, but they would still, even if they were talking to each other where they were saying, man, what the fuck you doing? Like, they would still talk to each other. I've never seen a situation where the quarterback and coach wouldn't talk to each other for 3 days after the game, and it wasn't a bye week, or not talk to each other during the game. Like, that, there's a lot of pressure of, and I mentioned this, like, it just seems like Carson Wentz became damn near public enemy #1 in the NFL. Like, people root for Antonio Brown, rapist, Tyreek Hill, child abuser, but Carson Wentz, because he loves Jesus and likes to hunt, people just can't wait for this dude to fail. And so I don't think he's mentally unstable or that he's mentally weak. I just think that you're in a position where you can't trust your front office, you can't trust your coach, you can't trust the fan base, you can't trust the media, you can't trust the national media. And on top of that, you've had 2 major surgeries to the point where he can't, at this point, trust even himself in his own body. I don't really know any type of athlete that can go through that. There probably is some select few who can. I mean, because I'll tell you, even remotely close that I've ever seen in the modern era was Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is going through it in Green Bay, and the national media has never talked about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will throw 3 picks, and they'll talk about but they were 3 glorious picks. That's a lot for anybody. So, I mean, I don't think he's like just like this whole thing. Prime example, we talked about it. A reporter asked Carson Wentz, "Hey, would you be okay with being the backup next year?" He said, "No. Like if I'm coming into next year and I won't be the backup, then I don't want to be here because I want to be a starter." That's what you want a competitor to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today, there's an article from Marcus Hayes. Carson Wentz, shut the bleep up and be a good teammate.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I was talking about from the Inquirer yesterday. And when I say mentally weak, look, so what I'm saying is, first of all, for you can't. We have never seen this, especially in Philly sports, because no other quarterback has ever taken us to a Super Bowl. So this is uncharted waters for our fan base.
But I don't even think we've seen this anywhere in the NFL.
No, but you're right, because there's more stability. But what I'm saying is you have a fan base that was starting for a championship. You have a fan base who liked the kid that Nick Foles. Everybody was in agreement. Like, Nick Foles was our quarterback of the future. Nick Foles was our guy. Chip Kelly trades him away. That's why Sam Bradford was never welcomed here with open arms. Sam Bradford was like, they couldn't get Sam Bradford out of here as a fan base fast enough. The fan base never embraced Sam Bradford. It was like he didn't even nobody gave a shit about Sam Bradford.
There was that false hope for that one preseason game.
that was it. Right. So then on top of that, then you draft Carson Wentz. He has a fabulous rookie season, right? Fabulous rookie season. Yeah, we were 7-9, but it literally was not Carson at all. Fabulous rookie season. Should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. So you go into the next year, who do you bring back? You bring back the prodigal son. You bring back the guy that everybody in Philly loved. Everybody in Philly thought that should never left. They have his damn uniform in the Hall of Fame from the 7 touchdown game. 27-2. That's all anybody ever talked about. So, so what ended up happening is that he gets hurt. Then the prodigal son, who the fan base all love, takes us to a Super Bowl. Next year he comes back. He came back too early. We all know that. He hurt his back because his back foot wasn't strong enough to plan on, so he was throwing all upper body and fucked his back up. Granted, he still played 8 weeks because he played 10 games that year, played 8 weeks with a broken back. But the Eagles kind of swept that under the rug, right? So they didn't do him any justice with that. Just swept it under the rug. It was just like, okay, he got hurt during most people thought he got hurt in the Dallas game until the end of the season. Once after the season was over, then everybody realized he got hurt. I think in the second game he came in. I guess
it was like Minnesota game, like week 4, week 5, something like that.
Like, I thought it was against the Giants, but either way, it was really early.
It was only early, yes.
Yeah, it was only like his second. It was like his second or third game back, right? So the Eagles didn't do him no justice for that. But then what happens? Then all of a sudden Nick Foles takes us on a run, and let's be real, we all know if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't drop that ball, we're in the NFC Championship game again.
Right.
Right. Then the next year he comes out, he's but because, and let's be honest, and I'm not turning on Wentz. Let's be honest.
Hold on, let's back up. If Nick Foles doesn't take an unnecessary shot when we're up by 10 points and throws a pick, we're probably in the NFC Championship game.
But we should have but we should have never been there anyway. Like, let's be real, because the way Carson was playing prior to, even though his back was broke.
And regardless of what's going on with him, the way he was playing.
And then we still got lucky to get in the playoffs because Chicago, who had nothing to play for, still went ahead and played their starters and beat Minnesota.
Right.
Okay, so if the Bears would have just laid down, let Minnesota win, we're not even in the playoffs.
Right.
Then the next year, Carson is up and down, up and down, up and down. He wasn't as bad as he was this year, but he was inconsistent. There was only really one bad game that I felt that Carson had last year, and that was the New England game. He was just awful.
I thought the Seattle game he was bad with too.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no. You're right. I'm sorry. The Seattle game he was bad. The New England game was where he was just dropping it, and cats were like dropping it in the basket, and cats couldn't catch nothing. So, but then once again, if Dallas doesn't pull a Dallas and implodes, we don't win the division. You know what I mean? Because that Dallas should have won that division last year by at least 5 to
Oh
6
yeah.
games last year, right?
Dallas should have won the division. You could pick pretty much any year in the past 15 years, and Dallas should have won the division.
Could have, yeah. I mean, 2017, no, but because we were just on fire. But you know what I mean?
And the RG3 year. Beyond those.
Yeah. 2013, yeah, RG3 was just. But anyway, so you have all that, and then like you said, he went through all that stuff. He finally did go through. He finally did get the Nick Foles monkey off his back. In the off season, I started listening to sports radio again because that whole time after the 2018 season, I couldn't even listen to sports talk radio in Philadelphia because it was just nonstop. Foles versus Wentz, like it was just like Jesus Christ. Like we have 4 teams in this city. Like I'm literally to the point where talk about the fucking Reading Phillies, anything at this point, right? So, but you go on, and then he gets it, and like you said, they reward him how? By drafting a quarterback. And this is why I say it mentally, because Green Bay traded back in because you brought up Aaron Rodgers. Now I get it, Aaron Rodgers, yada, 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 because we do live in a statistical society, okay?
Aaron Rodgers also has won a Super Bowl, too.
Won a Super Bowl. He's as great as Aaron Rodgers has been, he's played in 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, but and very true. But there's never been a national discussion about is Aaron Rodgers a bust, even though he's had a bad year.
No. But Green Bay traded back into the first round to draft a quarterback. Eagles draft a quarterback in the second round. You have each team had franchise quarterbacks. Carson Wentz.
Aaron Rodgers is 38.
But no. But hear me out though. But he wants to play till he's like 45. You still have 2 franchise quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, literally not only worst career year ever it's one of the worst career years in the history of the league. Aaron Rodgers responds by playing probably his best season.
Well, it helps when you have the 3rd leading rusher on your team and your coach. I mean, you got a point. I'm not saying, but that is.
We can make all the excuses we want now.
That's not an excuse. That's a fact.
It is. Yeah, he has all that, but Carson, he's not throwing in the triple coverage. He doesn't have a dude running across the like wide open dudes. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man.
Actually, he had that too.
Horrible.
The difference
Carson played horrible.
Carson has played horrible, but
horrible.
But here's my thing.
Historically horrible.
Bottom line is this, man. Today should not be about Carson Wentz. Okay?
It's not.
You know, because honestly, for the most part, Carson not being back don't have to do with Carson. It has to do with the fact that Jalen Hurts, if he would have had, let's say, 10 games, kind of like these 2, as opposed to only having 4 games, you know, because he's played 2 and that's 2 more.
Yeah.
He would be competing for Rookie of the Year. Like, I'll tell you like this. I saw, Ross Tucker put something out here. So you would say that, assuming that he heals up well, the Bengals are in great hands with Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers are in great hands with Justin Herbert. And the Dolphins are in good hands with Tua, right? Like, those are all fair things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts, not so much Justin Herbert, but has shown more than these 2 games than what Tua has shown his opportunity, and possibly is on par with what Burrow showed. Like, that's big time praise. And it's not an overreaction. Like, this dude is playing out of his mind, has done some firsts that are really out there. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns yesterday against a Cardinals team where their defense is a top 10 defense. It's not like they're a slack, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where this guy is playing lights out, and it's not Jeff Garcia down the stretch. It's not, I know we all love him, but it's not Nick Foles where you know that's his ceiling. It's not a Bobby Houy Mirage that we saw for a few games. Like, yes, of course he's going to come down to earth a little bit, but you look at Jalen Hurts and you see just the eye test. Forget all the stats. You look at Jalen Hurts and you say that's an NFL quarterback. a franchise NFL quarterback. You can just tell. New Orleans, you maybe not so much because a lot of leg stuff. Yesterday against the Cardinals, he looked like a franchise quarterback. And in these next two games against the Cowboys and against Washington, I expect him to continue to play at a high level. There's no need to keep, as you said, and I agree with you on this one, can't keep Wentz and Hurts. You can't. Wentz is a kid who is still he's not even at 30 yet. Quarterbacks are playing until 40. He's going to be wanted by several teams. And Hurts is shown in 2 games. It all took was 2 games to show that I deserve a shot to be a starter in this league. That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's all there is to it. And so, if as historically bad as Wentz was, if Hurts was then we could talk about open competition or even that Wentz is going in as a starter. The way Hurts is playing, man, that book is closed.
Yeah, 100%.
The only way that book isn't closed, knock on wood, is if Hurts gets hurt. That's it.
He is the prom queen, so to speak, of the city right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
the king of the South Hop. Okay? And this is where and now listen, I followed Jalen Hurts in college. I saw the quarterback, matter of fact, the quarterback who has dealt with on a national scale with a rabid fan base, take a team to the championship, get hurt, and his backup come up and win, is Jalen Hurts. Tua did that. And then he lost his job. And he took, and don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. Alabama Crimson Tide fans are some of the craziest football fans, period.
Mm-hmm. So they got down there.
So I take it back. The person that might have had to deal with some of the shit that Carson's had to deal with is the man that's the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Yeah.
So, but with all that being said, I look at Michael Vick in the sense of, as far as a comparison of, Michael Vick was the man. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Michael Vick, but when things went south, so did Michael Vick. Do I think Jalen Hurts?
I don't remember this much. Well, and once again, because we decided to keep him over the guy who was a playing quarterback when that helped us win the Super Bowl. But there has been I don't remember, even with in Donovan's days, there's never been as much venom.
Well, that's just his fan base. That's the last thing I'm gonna lead on before we go into our 5-pack of questions. This fan base, me and you have both said this. Look, we're Carson Wentz fans, but we're Eagles fans first. Mm-hmm. Right? Regardless of what happens, we are fans first of the team. And this fan base, I feel like, has forgotten that. That's why I said we teetering on being a fugazi fan base, because you got more people who, and I heard 20 minutes after the Super Bowl, literally 20 minutes after we won the Super Bowl in February 2018, there was a radio station in Philadelphia that said, well, what do we do with Carson Wentz? The confetti hadn't even fully fell yet. We ain't even had the parade yet. We need to get rid of Carson. There's the way that this fan base roots against Ben Simmons, roots against the kid. The way that they couldn't wait to get Brett Brown. They wanted Brett. It's one thing to say, I can't stand this coach, i.e. how me and you feel about Jim Schwartz. But once again, Jim Schwartz, very stellar job with his game plan.
Yeah.
Defense.
Masterful.
We might not like a coach, but we want them to succeed because they are on our team.
Right.
And the way that people were hoping Brett Brown fell, and hoping Brian Colangelo fell, because that would prove their point about Sam Hinkie, and hoping that Gabe Kapler fouled with the Phillies because they didn't like the fact that he is an analytics guy and uses coconut oil. Before he even played his first game, y'all got to stop that. That's not being a good fan base, man. You don't root against your team. The only time it's even remotely acceptable to root against your team is if we were out of the playoffs in week 17 and you won a better draft pick. That's it.
But even then, it's like I've been saying.
And it's rough, yeah.
Monday through Saturday, I want us to lose. I want the Cowboys to win. I want the Redskins to win. I want the Giants to win, just so we can have a good draft pick. Currently, speaking of that, currently we're at the 7th spot. But once, like I said, once I hear that Fox or that CBS sound or whatever, then it's like forget all that. Yo,
I wonder how hype you're gonna be to hear that NFL wild card Nickelodeon sound.
Right. Listen. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't know if Alex Smith is playing this week. I don't know if he's playing yet. If he's not playing, they could lose to Carolina. And if they lose to Carolina and Baltimore's still fighting for a playoff spot, you know what I mean?
We got to take care of business with Dallas.
I personally,
and I only say that because we have to admit our defense, especially our defensive backfield, our defensive secondary with the players that are there are playing out of their mind right now.
And you get Slay back this week, so
you do, but he's still hobbled. And all I'm saying, I'm not
not hobbled. He had a concussion.
Well, he's still bothered by his knee too. His injury. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm just saying first things first. We need to take care of business. That's all.
I think. I personally think this is going to be a rout.
I hope so.
I honestly do. And real quick before you get on your 5-pack of questions, like I said, so me personally, right now we're at the 7th spot. I think if we stay at 7, I think we end up with Jamar Chase, and I think if we back up and finish like 9th or 10th, I think we end up with Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. That's who I think will.
I honestly think if John Dorsey is calling the shots, we somehow end up with Michael Parsons, the linebacker for Penn State.
I don't think Michael Parsons is going to make it out of the top 5.
Oh, well.
That's just. I think he'll go.
That's not a hot take though. I can see that.
Right. Because like now. That's
a warm take.
Yeah, because right now Atlanta's 5th, and I think they'll end up taking Parsons.
But speaking of, let's get into our 5-pack of questions.
All right.
Because I want to get into, since this fan base just loves to find a player that we hate. Can you think of a person that played in Philadelphia, a Philadelphia athlete that like you just despised, not necessarily rooted against, you just couldn't stand them?
It's hard because anybody that puts on that. At first, I thought about.
Maybe let me rephrase this. Not that you despised them, drove you nuts. I think that's a better way to put it.
All right. Well, that's a little different. But the one person that first came to mind when you said that when you texted me that Philly athlete that I hated originally was J.D. Drew, but he really never played for the Phillies. He just refused to play here.
Yeah, so he doesn't count.
So he doesn't count. So then I had to really think, and I was like, I really didn't really dislike anybody. Like people, like Nnamdi Asomugha, it was like I didn't like him. He just sucked. Like it was just like, you suck. Like, okay, we overpaid you. You sucked. All right. Everybody was excited. Then you got exposed. Whatever. You sucked. So I didn't hate him. So I really had, but there was a teammate of his that I thought was an arrogant prick, and thought was extremely selfish, and was not a Philly guy, and just passed. That was Jason Babin.
A lot of people will mention Nnamdi. You might hear some people talk about Ricky Waters for who, for what. For me, honestly, like, Alshon is climbing up that list. I look at people that split up locker rooms and deal with that kind of stuff. I couldn't stand DeMarco Murray, man. I just couldn't.
Really?
I could not stand DeMarco Murray. He was always a cowboy who was collecting money from Philly, to me.
Yeah.
I could not stand DeMarco Murray.
He was the Eagles versions of Al Horford. They signed him just to get him away from the Cowboys. They signed Al Horford to keep him away out of Boston.
The thing with Al Horford, man, I don't despise Al Horford. Like, he's just done. Like, that's not his fault that they get.
Yeah, he's cooked.
Yeah,
you
know what I mean? Yeah. Like, now, I mean, there's just a few other people out there that were like, you could tell they just came here for the check, and that was it. Like, those are the type of people where I'm just like, ugh. But, I mean, DeMarco Murray was public enemy number 1 to me.
Oh, wow.
Your favorite homegrown athlete? I don't mean they're from Philly. I mean, we drafted them here, and they played here.
Oh, when you said homegrown, I'm thinking they had to be born here?
Favorite homegrown athlete, drafted and played for Philly. That's what it says.
Yeah. When I hear homegrown, I immediately think they were born here.
You have to read the whole sentence.
I didn't know. I'm saying how I relate to homegrown. Okay, you were born here. You grew up here, homegrown. Like I live in Maryland. I moved to Maryland when I was almost 16, but I'm Philly. I'm homegrown. Like that's my home. I grew up there. That's how I relate to it. I'm not saying that.
So no matter what I type, you just gonna take it how it is. Got it. So I was very specific. Anywho, I'll start to give you some time to think about it because to me,
if that's the case, if it's just homegrown, like a dude, like we embraced. They didn't have to be born here, but they came here and we embraced them.
A
and
guy
made them
that
one of
played
our
for
own.
Philadelphia sports that we drafted and spent a lot of his career here. That was your favorite.
Allen Iverson. That's
to me. That's there's no other person you can go.
Yeah. That's Allen Iverson there. Like
Iverson.
Virginia,
I mean,
what? No, Virginia. No,
to me, the second person on that list would be Jimmy Rollins for me. Drafted here, spent almost his whole career here with the Phillies, and I always loved Jimmy. But it's not compared to Allen Iverson, man.
My number 2 person would probably be Brian Dawkins.
Doc would be 3 for me as far as with that.
I wasn't I liked Rollins. I just thought he was I thought he was a little too arrogant for his own good, and he was lazy. So I really kind of was. I mean, he was a good player. I liked him, but I just thought he was lazy.
Listen, every player jobs for
I know. I just
consider out, but under 162 games, man.
I know.
But Doc's another good one. But AI, man, the juice that AI brought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. What were you going to go with? You going to say like Hank Gathers or something like that?
Nah. I was going Will Chamberlain. Because he was the only one I could really think of that was born in Philly.
You ain't never seen a Wilt Chamberlain play in his
No, I never saw it. You know who I was going to say, and then I found out he was drafted by Portland, and I was like, shit, fuck it, he wasn't drafted by us. It was Aaron McKee, but I was like, fuck, he was drafted by Portland. Fuck.
Yeah, Aaron McKee ain't played with us for a minute.
Right, I think he played. Yeah, he's like 4 years already in the league or something like that. He was like 4 or 5 years in the league before he came to us. But
you're so switching to video games. 2021, obviously PS5, all that stuff's gonna be out. Is there a video game that you are like really looking forward to?
Far Cry 6. When I saw that question, I was just like, I don't even need it. Because sometimes you have to look up like, matter of fact, let me look to see what games are coming out because I don't know all the games. Now, Far Cry 6.
See, I'm actually, you know what? And granted, I never played any of the Far Cry's, which you
right.
mentioned maybe that's why. But I'm looking forward to that New Horizon game.
That does look. I mean, I played the first New Horizon game. It was alright. It was cool. It was alright.
Yeah. So I think to me the second thing would be the new God of War 2. So if you could go anywhere for vacation, all right, you're taking your family with you. You can spend Christmas anywhere. Where would it be?
Aruba.
You sure?
Beautiful in a nice hut. Blue
nice
water.
Hut. Ain't no huts in Aruba.
Man, bro, whatever. You know everything.
No, there's no huts in Aruba. It would be like a hotel suite.
No, my boy's out in Aruba right now, and he sent me pictures of it's like these like they're almost like huts, and you're on like there's like a pier, and they're a hut that you stay in, and then like there's this pier and there's nothing but blue water. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean most of them. Well, maybe you could, I guess. That'd be very. I think Aruba's also a place where they have like some of the James Bond stuff there too, because they used to shoot a lot of stuff there, and in the Bahamas, that's dope too. Yeah. Aruba's a good thing. Anything in the Caribbean, I think, would be good.
It was between Aruba and Atlantis.
I don't see you and your families living in a hut though. I don't.
No, it was just for the holiday. Oh yeah, I'll fly out there.
Okay.
And if I did that, I ain't taking these damn kids with me. It's gonna be me and the wife.
Oh no, you can't leave the kids.
Why? They not kids no more. They not babies. They gonna stay with their Uncle Joey next year.
They ain't staying with the. Nah, man, they don't want to stay here.
Well, me and your sister-in-law go to Aruba next Christmas.
Nah, I don't think that's going to And your NBA started this week. What is your favorite regular season NBA moment?
I have two. One is the AI, but crossover Jordan. But I would probably say my number one moment is in a Philly sports moment, and especially now that he's not here, was Kobe's retirement game.
Kobe's retirement game was actually the one I was going to say. That was just amazing to watch. And because you knew he dug deep to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing too is that, look, man, I was a Kobe hater.
Me too.
You know,
100%.
I feel that I was lucky enough to be able to appreciate that man towards the end of his career. You know,
Yeah.
And Kobe was a special breed. The AI crossover was probably, my second moment. My third moment, which wasn't, necessarily, it's not Philly based, but remember the Heat and the Knicks in the late 90s were huge rivals.
Yes.
And I remember they got into a brawl during a regular season game that was just bananas. Like with PJ, they got one in the playoffs. They got one in regular season too.
Oh, because I was gonna say, I do remember the one with PJ Brown.
Yes.
Because the one with Van Gundy biting on
Alonzo Mourning,
that was playoffs.
Yeah. But I just remember, I remember just because of the fact it was just that was one of those games that really got me into wanting to watch just the NBA just in general.
Right. It's not a favorite, but it was must see. Now that you brought that ball up too, was the Malice at the Palace.
Malice at the Palace was kind of sad, man.
It was, but it was crazy. It was just holy shit. It was. What I mean by it wasn't a favorite. It was like one of those must see moments. Like holy shit, that's crazy. These dudes
right
just
now, the interesting thing with the NBA is that you say playoffs. Playoffs is a lot easier because there's a ton of amazing.
Oh God, yeah. That's why regular season. That was definitely a good one. You want to know? You want to know what I would love right now to be able to see or hear, to see and hear, is Aqib Talib commentating on the Malice from the Palace.
I feel like Aqib Talib be like, yo, that little homie right there, Ron Artesta stole that bull.
Yo, he stole it. You see that? Or Steven Jackson, rock the hell out of him. Like,
yo, see, man, that's why y'all keep your head on.
See. Hey, Brad.
I want that dude to call every single Eagles game going forward.
Hey, Brad. Hey, man. You see that right hook? Hey, man.
Yeah.
Look, you need to have, as a fan, you need to have a drinking game. Here's a drinking game. Whenever Aqib Talib is telecasting, take a shot every time he says, hey, man, look, I guarantee you be passed out by the end of the first quarter.
Aqib Talib saying, hey, man, is like, it's like Mr. T in Rocky 3 saying, hey, woman. Hey, all he gonna say it.
Hey, man. So, that was awesome. Like, people, it was so bad, but so great at the same time.
Right. It's one of those days where it's like, he's so bad, but you could tell,
he was trying.
I went to communication school, man. One of my biggest complaints is that we get this education, we study this craft, and then we don't get opportunities because athletes just take them. And they graduate or whatever. It's just like he was, second or third straight. Not saying, Aqib Talib was a great corner. He was just so bad it almost was endearing, though, as far as when I say because he actually wasn't a bad commentator, but I'm going to be me. I'm not going to worry about if I'm saying water or water or not. He was just like, I'm going to be me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, do you say water or do you say water? And he was like, I say juice. Like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be me. And it just made you really feel, to me, it made me feel like I was watching.
I was waiting for her to drop the N-word for real. I ain't gonna front.
No.
I was waiting on it.
That's he's literally the anti-Tony Romo. Tony Romo's gonna be like, oh, right here they're about to run a reverse. Keith Talib was like, yo, right here, my man gonna hit him right in the cup. Look, right there.
Right, you gonna hit him right here. Yo, he sniffed that out. Yeah. Hey man, look.
Hey man.
But you know what's funny when they were talking about, speaking of somebody getting it, or Jalen Hurts is getting ready to get Alshon a 3-year extension. He was just like, hey man, Alshon physical, man. Yeah, that's a big boy out there. Out there.
Let's get to
D-A-R-E. There.
Let's get to the picks for this week. It's weird because we got games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. Hey, man.
And Monday.
Hey, man.
So let's start with the Christmas Day game. Vikings at Saints.
Hey, man. I'm going Nolan.
Yeah, no at home. They gonna win. What you got on the
Yeah.
score for that?
Shit, I knew I forgot to do something. I didn't write down scores. I'm gonna go 20. Breezes is back for a second game. I'm gonna go 27-20. 27-20.
I got 31-27.
Okay.
Saturday, 1:00, Tampa Bay at Detroit.
Tampa.
I got Tampa too, but I think it's gonna be very close. I think it's gonna be 31-28.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I can see that.
San Fran at Arizona.
I'm going with Arizona because they're still in the midst of that playoff hunt.
I'm going Arizona because I can't name 5 people on the Niners right now that are playing. So I got Arizona winning 24-13. NFL decided that they want to show me that Thursday Night Football is on Prime Video, and I got to click off this ad. I'm sorry. Miami, the Dolphins at the Raiders.
Miami at the Raiders. Did you see that somebody pranked John Gruden and gave him an Oakland Raiders hat?
No, I did not.
Yeah, and he had to switch. It was like the end of the first quarter or something like that, and he had to switch his hat to where it said Oakland Raiders the whole first quarter. And then I don't think it's bad. Although did I thought it was great. I thought it was hysterical. But yes, I'm going Miami. I'm going Miami. I'm gonna go 20. 28-24.
I think it's going to be Tua's first bad game. Like, really, where it's a bad game and there's no injuries involved. And I think the Raiders win. I think the Raiders win 28-24.
Okay.
Going into Sunday, the game that we all know what we're rooting for, but we'll see what happens. Carolina at Washington.
As of right now, I'm rooting for Washington, but until Sunday morning, I'll be rooting for Carolina. I mean, yeah, I'll be rooting for Carolina. But still, I'm still going to go Carolina, especially if Alex Smith isn't playing. I know that Carolina's been eliminated, but I think Teddy Bridgewater is trying to play to make sure they don't draft a kid from BYU. I think he wants to be a starter, so he's still got something to prove. He has 2 more games to prove it, so I think he's going to do it. So I'm going to say 24-20 Carolina.
I got Carolina 17-13. Washington's D, I don't see Carolina scoring that much on her. And whoever's that quarterback for Washington, unless it's Alex Smith, I don't see him scoring much points either. So,
right.
What hurt Washington, they lost that kid Gibson, that running back. He's going to be good.
He originally was a wide receiver.
Was he? I know when they drafted him, he was a running back. I don't know if he was initially a wide receiver before.
Oh, I thought I read something that he was originally a wide receiver and then they moved him to running back.
James Robinson in Jacksonville. That's him. He was originally a wide receiver that became a running back. I don't know if you
No, Gibson. I read something that Washington, because he was drafted the same year as McCarron, right?
No, he's a rookie this year.
Is he? Oh, then I got somebody mixed up then. I could have sworn they said he drafted him as a wide receiver and they translated him over to a running back.
I mean, that might still be true, but he's a rookie.
Or it could have been in college, like you said. I just remember that conversation with the kid.
Colts at Steelers. Should be a really good game.
Colts at Steelers. I got Indy winning that. I just think Indy's still trying to at least get that number 2 seed. You know what I mean? So.
Nah, I think Pittsburgh wins this. I
really?
Think yeah. What do you have for a score?
I was gonna say 28-20. You know what? 31-28.
I got it 28-17. Indy is really successful when they can run the ball, and I think Pittsburgh's going to stop the run. And you're going to leave it on Phillip Rivers. They're not going to be able to do it. Atlanta at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I got Kansas City too. I got Kansas City winning 34-21.
Yeah, I'd probably say 34-20.
Chicago at Jacksonville, which I didn't realize for some reason. Chicago and Jacksonville, their fan bases really hate each other, and I have no idea why.
Nick Foles?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I've been seeing more and more videos about like the Bears just hate Jacksonville, and I'm like,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, the only people that should hate Jacksonville are their own fans. Like,
right. Yeah, I went with Chicago because Chicago's still fighting for a playoff spot.
I'm with Chicago too, but I think that Chicago's will play really well. I don't know if they're gonna make it to the playoffs, but I will say Mitch Trubisky's gonna make a strong push that he should be a starter next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's really turned it around. It was kind of one of those things to where, prime example, right? And I want to use this real quick, and I know, but like Matt Nagy, kind of like Peterson was stern. I'm not changing. Their offense was stagnant. He switched it up, went to Bill Lazor. Boom. He worked one-on-one with Trubisky. Boom. All of a sudden, they're scoring like almost 30 points a game, right? The one game that he actually called that Press Taylor actually called for Carson actually played. We lost, but Carson actually played pretty well. And then after that, like Doug took it away. So but it just goes to show sometimes I think if Doug would have just gave up play calling a lot sooner.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that was going to be what if about this season that was in the Eagles' control. It wasn't just an injury thing. Cincy at Houston.
I'm going Houston.
Yeah, I think the Texans will take out a lot of their frustration. They've had a couple pretty rough losses. I think the Texans will win 34-17.
Yeah, I would say 30. I would say 31-10.
Giants at Baltimore.
Ravens still going, still trying to get, like I said, getting that playoff spot. I don't think it's even close. I think they destroy them. I think it's going to be, I'll say 24-10, and it's not really even going to be that close.
If the Ravens get in, I mean, Lamar Jackson starting to look like himself again, and I think it's going to be 27-10. So it's pretty much the same. The Browns at the now 1-game winning streak, New York Jets.
They can't even tank right? Cleveland.
Yeah, I think Cleveland wins too. I don't think Cleveland's going to take the foot off the gas, even though they struggled against the Giants. I think they're not, So I think Cleveland wins as well. And I have Cleveland winning 20-10.
Yeah, probably about to say 21-10.
Denver at Chargers.
I'm gonna go Chargers. But still, two young quarterbacks, man. Like Drew Luck has really looked good.
Yeah, Drew Lock has looked good.
Drew Lock has really looked good, and of course Herbert, it's out of him and Justin Jefferson at this point for rookie of the year, so offensive rookie of the year. So,
Chargers at Seahawks. Rams at Seahawks.
Yeah. Did you pick a Chargers? Did you pick Chargers as well?
Yeah. I have the Chargers. I take that back, man. Actually, I have Denver.
Really?
Denver winning 20-17.
So you think Denver's okay?
Once again, in, man.
Rams at Seahawks. I'm going Seattle. And I would say 27-24.
I think the Rams win to solidify the fact that Seattle's going to be a wild card. And the Rams are going to win 31-28. Last second field goal. Then we got Sunday night. Should be a good game, too. Tennessee at Green Bay.
It's going to be a fun game. Would this be considered an upset if I pick Tennessee?
Not really, but sure. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay's at home, so it's a minor upset.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Tennessee. 28-26.
But so I have the minor upset. I have Tennessee 28-24. Major upset, Ryan Tannehill looks better than Aaron Rodgers.
I wouldn't.
Just for this game. And then Monday night, the AFC East champion Buffalo Bills against the eliminated New England Patriots. Haven't been able to say that since the early 90s.
No, I think 95.
Well, 95 was the year the Patriots went to the Super Bowl. So, but to be able to say that the Patriots were out of the playoffs, the Bills won the division.
I thought the Bills won the division 95, but you're right.
Did, but the Patriots were in the
that's what I meant. Since the Bills won the division, was 95. I think that Buffalo is going to take 25 years of frustration out on that ass, and I think it's going to be ugly. And I want to say 31-7, Buffalo.
I have them winning 38-10. I agree with you. And I think I would not be surprised. It's 38-10, but it's 31-10 with like 45 seconds to go, and they freaking just rub it in their face.
Yeah.
Stop us, Bill Belichick, you piece of crap.
Yeah.
And then we got the Eagles at the Cowboys, the most non-Dallas week ever, I feel like, for a game that means something between the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Because deep down, even Sunday will be different. Cowboy fans will be talking shit on social media. Eagles fans will be talking shit on social media. But probably deep down,
it be about the game.
Yeah, but I think deep down, everybody kind of wants the other teams to win because of drafting. Because right now we're 7th and they're 8th currently in the drafting. So I'm going Eagles, and I think this is gonna be the first time we hit 30. And I'm going to say 31-17, but it's not going to be that close. I think Dallas just gets a garbage touchdown, like, in the end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I have 31-21, but I don't think it's going to be that close either. I will say this, though. I do think that Tony Pollard's going to have a good game for the Cowboys, and I think it's going to be something where people are going to start murmuring, like, do we really need Zeke? Because we need to find money for Dak. And Amari Cooper is kind of showing his worth. But Zeke's been nothing but a pain in the ass. And we tolerate it because he's on our squad. Do we need Zeke? Because let's be honest, they were talking about Zeke was the best running back in the league. Past 2 years, he hasn't been a top 5 running back.
This season, no, not at all.
This season, not even close.
You could make the debate top 10.
No, because you got – listen, right now this season, I mean, you got Derrick Henry. You got Aaron Jones in Green Bay. You got Robinson over there at Jacksonville. You got Cook with Minnesota. I think people, even though he's been hurt all year, would still put Saquon in front of him or Christian McCaffrey in front of him. So that's 6 running backs right there. That's not even counting that, not saying that – I'm just talking this season. I think that Zeke is better than him, but – David Montgomery is putting his thing together right now with Chicago.
Kid, Hilaire or whatever.
Hilaire in Kansas City. DeAndre Swift is quietly having a very good year for Detroit. It looks like that Detroit might actually have a running back for the first time since Barry Sanders.
Right. If he can stay healthy.
Yes, So, I mean,
Miles Sanders. I would, at this point in time right now, for this season, I would take Miles Sanders over Zeke Elliott this year.
Well, you got to get the ball to him more than 15 times, But
Right. And that's what's crazy. I remember years ago, and it actually showed up on my Facebook memories years ago. It showed up recently, and it was just like, it was like Shady when he's younger, and it was just like Shady was averaging like all these like yards, and he was averaging like almost 100 yards, and had like almost 6 yards per carry, and he was only averaging like 12 carries a game, like 12 carries a game, and it just made me laugh. It was just like, Jesus, God is like, what is it with us when we have a really good running back?
It's that Andy Reid stuff, man. But listen, it's gonna be our show. Have a happy holiday, man. If you celebrate, Merry Christmas to everybody. Stay safe. Anything else that you want to put out there?
Yeah, listen. I know as Eagles fans, we want to do this is let's get focused and as a fan base come together. Wentz, it was fun. You know what I'm saying? Wish you luck. Let's focus on Hurts, and let's talk about what we can do to build around Hurts. Wentz was yesterday.
I think the fan base will, because they're switching their hate from Carson Wentz to Ben Simmons since the Sixers season starting. So they got to hate on somebody.
Right. Again, got to hate on somebody. So.
I'll see y'all later.
All right, peace.